Okay, so I'm going to talk about a time when I stopped, like a notable period of my life when I decided to stop being deceptive about one particular thing. But it actually involved someone else being deceptive to me, so there's like a whole lot of deception going on. So I grew up in the South, Southern Baptist as well, and what I learned and internalized in that environment is that I was supposed to be really nice to everyone no matter what. Sometimes that involved having no boundaries whatsoever. And so when I went to college, a small Baptist college in West Virginia, I decided that I was going to be friends with everybody, but everybody deserved to have me as a friend. And so, like, if you chew on your own hair for fun, like, you could be my friend. If you have a personality disorder, like, you could be my friend. If you, like, collect animals, lots of them, you could be my friend. Like, I'm not going to judge you. We're going to be BFF. You can sit with me in the cafeteria. Like, it's all good. So I decided that I was going to be friends with everybody. So I was an RA, now I'm a social worker obviously, but I was an RA back in the day, and it was my senior year, and there was this dude, we'll call him Mike. So Mike was one of the students who was in my suite, and he was a freshman, and he was like kind of socially awkward, and like really had trouble fitting in. And everybody thought he was kind of weird, so obviously he's a perfect candidate for friendship. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to befriend this guy. And so, like, we started talking, and then we started hanging out, and I invited him to, like, eat with me at lunch, and my friends, like, hated me, because they're like, what are you doing? And I'm, it's just, that's Jake, and they still love me, but it was frustrating, I'm sure, for them. But anyway, so, like, we started hanging out, everything was good, and then, like, things started getting a little weird. One day he walked into our suite and he had a shirt on that said Drake on the back of it. And my name is Jake. I have an identical twin brother actually whose name is Blake. And this guy has a shirt that says Drake. And this was like before Drake the rapper, or like long before that. And so I'm like, what's going on here? So he said, well, like I just feel like I'm kind of like your lost triplet. Now that's a red flag, right? But for me, like, that's not a red flag. He's still a perfect candidate for friendship. So I was like, okay, like, it's all good. Like, that's, and then, so actually, I'm like, well, what do you mean, like, triplet? And he's like, well, actually, I have something to tell you. I actually had triplets. Or I was a triplet. And my two triplets didn't make it through the birth. And their names were Jake and Blake. I'm thinking, your name doesn't rhyme with that A. Which, you don't have to have rhyming names if you're triplets, but still that's weird that their names rhymed and yours didn't really fit in. B, like, it's funny that you, like, those names are the name of me and my brother. But still, yet, I was like, okay, cool, let's go eat something. So then we continued to hang out and whatever, and then, so, this is really nerdy, but my favorite musician was like a Christian artist named Bethany Dillon. I don't know if anybody knows who she is. I don't expect anybody to, but I was like obsessed with her, and it was back in the day of MySpace, and I was like on her MySpace page, and she friended me, and I was stoked about it. So anyways, one day I come in from class, and he's like, oh my god, I was on Bethany Dillon's page today, and I was her top friend. And I was like, what? Like, how could you be her top friend? Like, her friends and family are her top friends. I'm not gonna lie, like, I was a little bit jealous, but I knew that it was bullshit because, like, that doesn't even make sense, right? Like, why would you? And so something clicked in my mind at that point. It was like all these years of being really, really nice and like just having no boundaries. It just kind of clicked, and I was like, that's fucked up, and that's bullshit, and you're lying. And it just opened this flood, and I'm like, you're also lying about the triplet thing. That's ridiculous. And so, like, we kind of went back and forth, and, like, he, like, still didn't admit it. Like, he was still holding on to the triplet thing, which was such bullshit. And I was, like, so confused. And so anyways, like, he was being deceptive. Eventually, he admitted that, obviously, like, that was untrue, that the Bethany Dillon thing was untrue, that he was just doing it to be my friend. I could diagnose him now if I wanted to, but I won't go there. And but it was not only a turning point for him to admit his deceptiveness toward me, but it was a turning point for me, like, to stop being deceptive. What good am I doing anyone if I'm being his or her friend just because it gives me a sense, it appeases my ego, or it makes me feel like a good person. So it was a turning point in my life where I started to develop boundaries, and now I'm a good social worker because of it.